This has literally grown my wrist by centimeter in about 30 days. Oh, I've got a G-Shock and like it's a bit too big for my wrist or whatever. Just so you know, this is something that you literally can do to increase your wrist size. Each day I'd wear a new watch, I actually have to bloody crank it up to accommodate my now heftier wrists. So really, really inspiring. Did you know that your grip strength is your vitality's strongest sign? And so, training your grip strength can improve your life force and well-being, which is why I bought the world's #1 grip trainer, the GD Iron Grip 80, to unbox and review for you. And after 30 days of training, I'll be revealing the results to my max reps, hand size, and see how the Iron Grip device has held up. So stick around to see the epic results. Alright guys, I am so excited to slash my way into this because this is the world's #1 hand grip strength trainer, and I am just so keen to get into this bad boy. Now, before we go through exactly what we have included in the box, why did I go with the world's #1 device when it is obviously quite expensive? Well, I actually started off at the very bottom of the barrel with this little bad boy here. And this was only $4 on AliExpress, right? Now, if you'll take a closer look at it, you might be able to notice that over the 2 months that I've been using this device, it is already a little bit damaged, okay? You can see that it's almost like it's powdering in there, like it's just not gonna last. So, but I will say that to get started with, just at the minimum here of 5 kilos, doing this for 2 months has really made me feel a big difference in my hands. And it is pretty cool that it comes with this little counter as well. But overall, guys, once you realize that you are enjoying something, you don't want to have the cheapest one. So I'm certainly glad to have the cream of the crop here, the GD Iron Grip 80, okay? Now, if we take a look at the book here, you'll notice that there's 2 distinct models there, and I did read a lot of the Amazon reviews before I decided. Now, the one on the right here is the one that just has the steel handles with a bit of knurling there for grip. But the one downside of this grip, guys, is that people said it can slip a little bit, which is why I've gone with the silicone handles. So let's bust them out and take a look. Oh my God. Look at the quality of this device, and my God, has this thing got some heft to it. Look at this thing, guys. Massive quality springs. All the parts are made of metal, even internally. This is metal under the silicone here. This thing, guys, is literally meant to last a lifetime, okay? Unlike this other crappy one I have from AliExpress, all right? Now, it did also come with, I believe this is just a stand for it, okay? So you could have it, chilling on your desk or whatever, which I'll probably do. That's something I'd recommend as well, guys. If you want to increase your vitality, increase your hand strength, it's so easy to do, right? Because you can just do it while you're doing other things, right? I just had this sitting on my desk, and while I'm doing my work or without even thinking about it, right? You just do a few reps and you really do notice the difference, okay? Now, before we start the 30 days, right, I am going to show you a close-up of my hand so we can get a judgment and see how this improves. But let's get into a closer look at the Iron Grip right now. So, from what I understand, this thing has got many adjustment levels, and you may also be able to customize how close the pieces are together. So this version is 12 kilos at the minimum, or you can toggle this to put that up to 25, okay? So I think we're at 12. Yep, definitely achievable at the minimum there, 12 kilos, guys, okay? And this does feel quite satisfying, I must say. And obviously, I don't feel like any of the parts are grinding away as they were with this pathetic cheap one, okay? Now, I do have to say, guys, 12 kilos, if you have never done any grip strength training whatsoever, that might still be too much for you to start with, okay? So honestly, I have to admit, even when I got this one, which the minimum claims to be 5, all right, but I'm not even sure how accurate that is. When I first got it, I struggled to squeeze it, and I was like, my God, how is anyone supposed to get up to the alleged 100 kilos here? but after a while, you do get used to it. So what I'm going to recommend is, if you wanted to, you could start with this one, okay? And if you, I'll leave the QR for you on screen now if you want to get this particular one, but just know it's just sort of your way to let you... Whoa. Bubble, it's okay. Sorry, Bubbles heard something outside. So if you would like to get started with the absolute cheapest one on AliExpress for about $4 just to get your foot in the door, I'll leave the QR for you here. You can pick it up at genie.us/gripper. But what I would actually recommend, guys, instead is to go with Amazon, okay? AliExpress one, if you really wanted to cheap out, save a bit of money, just to last you for a couple of months while you decide whether you really want to invest in strengthening your hands and your vitality. So my next recommendation for those of you who don't want to start at the 12 kilogram amount would be to go with Amazon. And I got this pair right here, okay? You get 2 at once. Cost me about 15 Australian dollars, all right? Definitely feels like it's going to last a bit longer, and it is also adjustable with a minimum of 5 kilos, okay? So for those of you just getting started, certainly a good option. If you would like to start with those, scan the QR here or head to genie.us/grips, okay? Now, once you're ready to join the big leagues and get this bad boy that's going to last you a lifetime, which, oh my God, I'm so excited for, guys. Yeah, let's take another look at how we might do the adjustments. So from what I understand, it's this pin just here. Now, do we lift it? We might have to, so we pinch it in, right, and then you can lift that up. Now, so now we've got it on the closer version, okay? So look at this, see how the grips are now much closer together? But if we squeeze it and push that, hang on, now we're sort of at a mid-range point, okay? So you can really decide how far you want to do your squeezes and your reps. So now let's try, instead of, what if we went up like that? Right, so that's what you do, guys. So now we've fully loosened it, and these big, like industrial strength springs, guys, we can now adjust that all the way up to 82 kilograms, okay? Now I'm gonna lock this in. Let's put it maybe at about the halfway, 52 kilos, my God. So can I, that is a workout right there. So, but look guys, fully adjustable to whatever you need. Once you are on to the first level, you're golden. It's only gonna be downhill from there. So I'm really looking forward to this. I will be using it for 30 days, okay? And we are gonna see if there's been any transformation on the size of my hands, okay? So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, guys, now this is really awesome. I've just had a quick breeze through the instructions, and not only do we have the level 1, 2, and 3 for the difference in length between your squeezes, there's also modes A and B, which is what allows you to toggle between the 2 different strength options in each notch. So remember, there's 6 notches, but if we would like to change it, right? So at the moment, the default, we're on A, I believe, which is 12 kilos, pretty easy, okay? But if we squeeze it and pop this down, all right, now if we look down here, this can actually swap down, okay? Let me bring it up here. So that bottom part of the spring, it's hard to see, but it's actually rotating between 2 different zones there. So if we did want it to be even more of a challenge, okay, we can notch it into there. And now we'll lock that in. And that should be, yeah, that's definitely a lot harder, which corresponds to 25 kilos instead of 12. All right, so I'm really digging this. There's a lot of customization, a lot of options here that's really going to be flexible and help me to increase my reps over the 30 days that I do plan on training with this for you guys to bring you a review. So just before we get into that, I definitely want to test my max rep. Okay, so I guess we'll give that a go now. So let's squeeze this in. We go all the way down, don't we? So let's just go all the way to the bottom on... Oh, so even between A and B, it's either going to be 80 or 82. So either way, that's going to be a challenge. Oh, boy. There's no way I'm doing that, guys. There is no way. Okay, so let's try the next notch up, which is 69 or 67. Oh, not quite. The 52 or 58. I think we can Yeah, we can get that. Okay, so I am going to try and improve off this over the next 30 days, guys. But the other thing to do before we commence the 30 days is I would also like to take a detailed look at the size of my hands. Not that I think much is going to happen within 30 days, guys, but look, here are the size of my hands. Nothing crazy, okay? I'm not a big working class guy with all of these, you know, super buff, burly hands, so I'm just kind of an average guy. Those are my hands, okay? And I would also, because I'm someone who wears watches and I review them and stuff, wrist size is pretty important. Some people say actually that using these can help improve your forearms, and I presume your wrist as well. So what I'm going to do is take a pre-measurement of my wrist. Got my tiny everyday carry kit here, guys, which if you haven't seen the review for this one, you can check that one out here. Very good video. And in here, I have a tiny titanium tape measure. So let's do a wrist measurement real quick. Almost 6 3/4 inches. Basically 17 centimeters exactly we'll go with. Okay, so there you have it, guys. I can't wait to get back to you in 30 days and see if there's been any changes and give you my full review of the GD Iron Grip 80. Oh yeah. Oh, and if you are as committed as I am and you cannot wait to get your hands on the world's best hand grip, the GD Iron Grip 80, you can pick one up scanning the QR on screen now or head to genie.us/grip. Oh yeah. Bubble is here to remind you to ram that like button if you're enjoying the video so far. Aren't you, Bubble? Yes. You just want the treat, don't you? Well, Bubble and I can't wait to get back to you in 30 days, and who knows, Bubble over here might just do some training with me and be nice and buff for us in the next 30 days, won't you, Bubble? Yes. Good girl. So guys, it is day 3, which is the 15th of September, and I just had this idea. Why don't I do a traced outline of my hand? That way we compare it at the end of the 30 days. So let's go ahead with that now. What's up, guys? We are back, and I am so hyped to be with you after 30 days of using the Iron Grip. And as a matter of fact, although I've ticked off all the days, the 30th day would have been the 12th, and it's actually the 16th. So it's been 34 days before I've had time, but I'm super keen to get into the results because I believe there have been some noticeable gains. So let's get into the epic reveal. Alrighty, now before we get into the actual measurements of my wrist and of the hands, I'd like to show you just visually what my hands look like, okay? If you can notice any difference, I'm definitely noticing that they are a little bit more prominent towards the pinky pad, which is this part just here. So editor, if you'd like to show the before clip on screen and you guys be the judge, if you can just visually notice anything right now. But one thing I will say for sure, guys, is that my hands feel absolutely amazing. Like, just the amount of dexterity and grip strength that I have feels so much better than it used to be before I started this challenge. And it's definitely thanks to the Iron Grip 80. So I'm definitely really happy with this. And last thing before we jump into the measurements, guys, I just wanted to quickly go through the actual exercises that I did. Okay, so each day I would start on the lowest setting, just at 12, okay? And of each exercise, I do 10 reps, and then I do a 10-second hold of that exercise. First thing I do is just a basic one, and I do these on my left and right as well. I then do a closer grip like this, okay? I then do a grip just like this with these two fingers, okay? And the one for the thumb that I would do is actually just like this. And this one, when I started, I could not do the 12 kilo, but now I can. I can get it all the way, as you can see, and then obviously I'd hold these for 10 seconds as well. But the hardest one that I did, guys, that really helps with the wrist growth is if you put it into like an arm wrestling stance, just like that, okay? And that's, I'm telling you, it's so much of a different workout by doing that, and it really will work your wrists. And then after I'd done that once a day, I would pop this out and go up to the next level and do the exact same exercise there. So with that out of the way, let's get into the actual measurements. Now, the first thing that I'm super excited for, guys, is the wrist side. And I'm going to tell you now, I have already measured my wrist size and I can confirm that there has been some growth. So we're going to take off the watch that I'm wearing at the moment. And you might notice this watch is what I was wearing before the 30 days, but it's had a makeover. So I've upgraded it with this epic upgrade kit. And if you want to see the mod video for that one, you can check out the video here. But let's get my micro EDC kit out and get my mini titanium tape measure out here. Now, editor, if you would, please show the before of me measuring my wrist size, because if you'll remember, it was 17 centimeters, I do believe. So let's take it and we'll measure in the same spot. I'm going to bring it in for you guys. We are basically bang on 17.5 centimeters. All right, there's no fluff there. This is literally grown my wrist by 0.5 centimeter in about 30 days. So I'm really impressed by this. I'm obviously going to keep doing it, not with the goal necessarily of growing my wrist size, but guys, as someone who reviews a lot of watches, I get lots of comments from you guys telling me about how, oh, you know, I've got a G-Shock and like it's a bit too big for my wrist or whatever. Just so you know, this is something that you literally can do to increase your wrist size, all right? So if you do want to pick up a iron grip, head to genie.us/grip by scanning the QR just here. And I'll, of course, leave links to everything I've shown you down in the description below as well. Now, some of you may be thinking, look, you've gained 0.5 centimeter in wrist size. Did you just gain some weight or something? I'll tell you this, no, I didn't. And in fact, I lost a little bit of weight over the period. So it's definitely more to do with the training. As a disclaimer, I did also use, as I think I mentioned at the beginning, I was also using this sort of finger grip exerciser just for my fingers, although I don't think that would have contributed to wrist size. The other one I did just for my finger dexterity was this little fellow right here. It's just like a little rubber egg, and each day I'd kind of squeeze that a bit as well with each finger and then hold it for 10 seconds. Again, not necessarily going to help with the wrist, but the next one may. But if you want to pick up this little fellow, you can grab one at genie.us/grip egg. Okay. Now the last one is a really cool and interesting gadget that I also used, and it's called the gyro ball. Now I don't think I used this for the full 30 days because it kind of arrived a bit later, but it's really interesting. So all that you do is, you see how these arrows on here are pointing upwards. So we're just going to roll it up, roll it, roll it, roll it, and it's getting pretty tight. Now we can let go, boom, and it starts bloody gyroscoping around in there. And all you do is, for 1 minute each day, you just kind of try and keep the momentum going with your wrist. And you definitely, like, look, I'm staying still. Look at the force that's putting on my wrist, guys. So this is another one that I would definitely recommend if specifically you want to increase your wrist size over your hand size, okay? This little gyro ball, you can pick one up scanning the QR here or heading to genie.us/gyro, okay? Now, let's get into something that I have not pre-measured like the wrist size. I'm very curious to see whether my actual palm tracing has increased in size. Now, I have the originals here, okay, and I've got a blue pen this time, just so that hopefully we can see the difference. Now, in all honesty, guys, my hopes aren't so high for this. I don't expect that my hands will have changed massively, if at all, but I do have to say that I did notice visibly, and so did my wife, that the pinky pad of my palm has definitely looks or feels like it's gotten bigger at least. So we are going to find out. And the last thing I'll mention is, with the noticeable wrist size increase, guys, I had to resize a few of my watches. So this here is my Casio Royale in a metal upgrade kit. And obviously, look, it's got one of these bracelets that has the quick releases. Not quick release, the micro adjust. So what I found, guys, is that I'd literally, throughout my, each day I'd wear a new watch, I actually have to bloody crank it up to accommodate my now heftier wrist. So really, really inspiring. Now, let's get into the measurement. Can't wait to see how this goes. So we're going to use, let's start with the left hand. So I'll try and line it up sort of as best as I can, and then try and do it like I did before. Okay. Now, I've tried to be as fair as possible and kind of press it in as best as I can. Look, there's not a whole lot of difference in the fingers, obviously, and I will say that one thing I've learned is that it's actually very hard to grow the width of your fingers because there's literally not actually any muscles. It's basically all the tendons. But the big thing that I am noticing here is that, check it out, that is a definite noticeable bulge in the pinky pad of my left palm, okay? So our suspicions are confirmed. I've definitely grown that. To a lesser extent on the right, I kind of butchered that, didn't I? But I think that has grown a little bit as well. And guys, that's because the major hand exercise that you're doing, look at that. You're definitely putting a lot of pressure on that little pinky pad, okay? So you really can grow your hands in just 30 days by doing this. And I'm definitely noticing the firmness. And overall as well, one other thing that I noticed visually, check out the top of my hands. Like, it feels like there is muscles in the hand, and these ones here have definitely gotten bigger. So super, super happy with these results, guys. And the next thing we're going to test is the max reps. So stick around for that. All right, so now let's check out my maximum rep, and then we're going to get into the pros and cons of the GD Iron Grip, okay? So I think by memory, the last time I did it, I was kind of able to make the 52, which is here. So let's see if I can make that actually. Here we go. Oh. Yep, we're getting a connection there. So I can indeed do 52 as my max rep, okay? And I guess the next highest one up from that is 58. So we put that lock in and we jump up this tail end. We lock that up to the upper section, which makes it harder, and then we put it in the same notch for 58. Okay, so let's see if this is possible. I'm not even sure. Yep. Oh, we barely got that, guys, but we have definitely increased, okay, up from 52 up to 58. Now, I could keep pushing it further, guys, but I do want to point out one piece of great advice. Please do not try and be some Giga Chad bodybuilder and try to go for your max rep. It's not worth it. On one of the days about halfway through, I did try and do it. You can damage your wrist and tendons. Luckily, it was very minor for me and it only lasted a day. But if you pop something, you're done for. It's not worth it. Just stick to doing the lower reps that you're comfortable with, that you can actually stick to consistently with your routine. Okay? Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the pros and the cons of the GD Iron Grip 80. First thing is these lovely silicone grips, okay? So the knurled iron versions that you can go for, I'm definitely glad I didn't because the reviews did say that they were slippery, so I am very happy with the level of grip, okay? Also, as a pro, I would say that the little click that it makes when they touch together is satisfying for each rep. It really makes it feel rewarding when you're doing all of your reps there. The next thing that I liked about it is that not only do you have kilograms on one side as your unit of measurement, you've also got pounds, okay? So for those of you who use that, you can see it in pounds as well. So I like that flexibility and it makes sense to have them on either side. Next up, guys, it is the little desk stand. And let me just say that having this sitting on your desk means that you are always motivated to use it. It looks nice, it's in sight on your desk. It just means that it's not intrusive, okay? You know, you might be doing a bit of work and then you look at it and you go, oh, let me just do a few, reps today or whatever. So it really integrates well into your routine and looks good doing it. Next up is that this thing is very easy to adjust, as we've been through. So you just push it down, you slot it into wherever you want, you lock it back in, and then even going to the setting that's closer inwards, you get that gap nice and small. If you wanted to do these little ones, it's really, really good there. So nice and easy to do. And I found that very convenient because, as I say, I was mainly switching between the 12 up to the 22, okay? And I do that at least once a day, so being so easy to do was a massive advantage, okay? Another little one, I really love the vibrancy of these main springs and the way they're coated in this awesome orange color. I don't know why, but that's just something that really gets me going. I love the look of that. I also love that the coating of these springs shows that they're never gonna go rusty, okay, by being coated in this, and the coating is never deformed or kind of cracked or anything while I've been using it. You just know that this thing is gonna last a lifetime, okay? And the next thing I liked is the consistency of the weights. You know that when you lock into the exact same slot each time that it's gonna be the same. Unlike these cheaper ones where you've got to kind of crank the dial, you are never going to get it into exactly the same spot each time if you adjust it, are you? So that's a massive advantage for the iron grip that makes it worth the price. So overall, this thing epitomizes lifetime quality. It's made in Korea and it's an absolute beast. And I would certainly recommend picking one up. If you would like to do so, scan the QR here or again, head to genie.us/grip. Now let's get into the cons. These are the things that I didn't like about the GD Iron Grip 80. The first thing that I disliked about this device is that the 12 and 25 kilogram settings, the instructions say to bring to the closest grip size to stabilize the springs. And basically what you'll find is that you can't have the wider grip stance for 12 and 25. See how it just kind of flops around there? So if you wanted to have the wide grip stance, you might accidentally, and then it pops down to the next one, which is kind of lame. So it's only if you are in the third notch and below that will be stable. But as a workaround, you can just adjust to one of the closer grip strengths for one of these two, okay? And speaking of this 25 round, guys, you're not going to believe this. So I lent my friend one of these. He came over and I was like, bro, do you want to start training your hands? It's, it's lots of fun. I've got this one now. I'll give you one of these. He takes it home. He starts using it. He loves it. So he gets one of these, just like I did, the exact same one with the silicone grips. He's loving it too, by the way. And I was on the phone to him yesterday and I'm like, bro, have you noticed that the 20, I was like, what are you doing it on? He's like, oh, the 25. And I'm like, dude, have you noticed that the 25 feels weaker than the 22? And I got him to try it, and he agrees with me. For whatever reason, guys, that if we put it into the top section, so this is now on 25 here and here, for some reason, that is easier than having it on what is allegedly the 22. Down in this section, and he tried it. Look at the way I'm straining, guys. He tried it and he completely agreed with me. So they've obviously, miscalibrated that to some extent, but if you've got one of these, please try it and let me know down below. Okay. Next thing that I dislike is to do with the stand. Now, I don't know if this happens with the knurled iron handle, but I'm telling you, with this silicone one, when you pick it up, look, the handle comes with it. And it gets annoying because come on, get off, right? You just want to be able to quickly pick it up and do it conveniently, but you can't. It's good for standing, but it's not good for quick removal. So I suppose a workaround, you could put something there to adhere it to the desk to make it come out smoothly, but that was just a little something that pissed me off a bit there. And the next thing that I disliked is that the silicone handles can get a little bit slippery, but only if you're seriously working out. I probably only had to wipe them down properly once or twice throughout the 30 days, so it's not a major consistency. And the final thing that I disliked about this device is that there is relatively huge jumps between the early levels, all right? Let's look at it here. As we know, the lowest you can set it on is 12. And for someone who's never done any training on their hands before, as I said, that might be a bit much for you if your hands are quite weak. And then let's say you can finally do that and you're ready to move on. To get to the next level, which is 22, you've basically got to double it. So I would like to see in a future iteration of this, maybe some, I guess, lower increments just to make it a bit easier for newcomers, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to just go straight up to the next level like that. But that's about it, guys, for the cons. Other than that, I really, really loved the GD Iron Grip 80. You know it's going to last a lifetime, unlike this powdery ass AliExpress one that's literally crumbling to dust over here, guys. Okay, so I'm so pleased to have this, knowing that it is going to last the rest of my life. And as I said, I do plan on continue using it even though the 30 days is up. And grip strength, as we said in the intro, guys, it is one of the clearest signs of vitality. So why not train it, okay? It's going to help increase your wrist size for your watches. You're going to feel better. You've got extra dexterity, so why wouldn't you do it, all right? Scan the QR here or head to genie.us/grip to grab your own GD Iron Grip 80 built to last. If you really wanted to, start with the cheap one, and again, I've linked it below if you just want to dip your toes in the water before you start with the big boy. And what's your go-to hand exercise? Is there anything that I've missed of my little repertoire of exercises I've got here? Do let us know down below if you have anything that you'd like to recommend. A massive thank you to our Goat Crew channel members for supporting the channel, you absolute legends. Here's a link if you'd like to join us. Do make sure you share this with a fitness fan or you know someone who might like to train their grip strength. Here's some more great content for you to watch next, and here is a playlist. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next review. 25 kilos, Bubble? That's incredible. Good girl.